For the public opinion or the topic inclusion, when you think about it, the first thing that comes in mind is focus on a diverse workforce. And in terms of different type of people, orientation, race, etc. And why is this so important to really focus on this? Do company live or do they operate in a way that excludes certain type of people? Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome insights. Hit that notification bell too, so you never miss a video. That's a big help. Thank you.
Legally, in many countries, I don't think you can. That doesn't mean people don't select. Yeah, I'll tell you a bad story about me. Many years ago, my boss at the time, or mentor, he said, Joe, you tend to hire people who are like you. Now, he didn't mean white males, but he meant people that are smart enough, but a little bit more friendly and more personable, not just the hardcore intellectual. You can't just surround yourself with people like you. Now, it didn't mean it negatively, but it's a point there. I'm not going to comment. Well, I can comment, but I'm sure in my country, at least, I mean, of course, there's exclusion, whether it's really subconscious. I don't know. I don't believe it's blatantly conscious today. We could go into that. Maybe it's, but subconscious or just the way you've raised, the people you hang out with. I was at a session with Northwestern Mutual the other day. They hosted a conversation around closing the wealth gap on the race side. And one person talked about how we have to get more high income African Americans, blacks to actually draw it up. Another one said, no, we have to get more small businesses started, which both matter. But he said the data on small businesses in the United States, doesn't matter what you're. If you're a white person, you hire your first 5 people, they're white people. If you're Hispanic and you hire your first 5 people, they're Hispanic. If you're black and you hire your first 5 people, they're black. You call that inclusion or call it hanging out with people we're comfortable with. I don't know which. And I think the important thing on inclusion, you said, why is it important? I mean, I think it's important not to exclude, but you get so much data now about the results that come when you have a more inclusive and diverse workforce, right? The banks do the studies, the consulting firms do the studies. There's so many studies now. When you put women in the C-suite, women and men, black in the C-suite, women and African Americans and Hispanics in the management roles. And I think what happens, and you just said it, is you gather different experiences, different lived experiences. They can connect with different parts of your consumer base. So there is definite power when you bring more people to the table with the different views and opinions. Now, I'll let you ask me a question, but then you can bring them to the table, but that doesn't mean they're included. There's a lot more than just having them in the room. Well, I can go there. How many times do you hear, or you probably have seen it, you're in a room with 7 or 8 leaders and 1 woman or 2 women and 5 men, and the woman says something and then no one reacts. And then 2 minutes later, a guy says the same thing and everyone talks about it. A bloody stereotype, but we've all seen it, or as a cliche over and over. I don't think that's called inclusion. Actually, that's exclusion.
Or it's just they have to fulfill some quotas, and then they put someone in, but just to tick the box.
Big world, and a lot of different companies are different stages of their evolution. I think that ticking the box just to tick the box is probably over. They still got to do it. It's still happening, but I think it's more that there's just norms of centuries or tens of years talking, not thinking the women belong in the room is just something that 50 years ago, they were barely in the room. And that's horrible to say.
Subconscious minded, they still believe that thought somehow subconsciously, and then the subconscious mind is controlling most of our activities, controlling our decisions.
Right. Or you could even go a step further. It doesn't matter who you are. Most of it, people first tend to live in their own head. Your point, your subconscious. And what am I thinking? And what are my ideas? And what do I think is right? And really, if you want to be an inclusive leader, you actually have to you've got to get a broad set of people in the room, but then you actually have to listen to them. You have to give them opportunities to speak. You actually have to understand what they're saying and where they're coming from and what do they know that you don't know. And a lot of people, leaders or not, think they have the answer. Now, I'll tell you, I wrote this book, which is not here nor there necessarily, but I talked to a lot of CEOs and other business leaders, and all of these ones who are known to be pretty broad-based, servant type, generous type of leaders, they're just really good at all. I said, I ask questions and I probe, and I ask questions and I probe. They all know they don't know what they don't know. But that is not everybody thinks like that. You look at my country now on the 2 extremes, and they think the other side is so wrong that no one's spending 1 minute to understand why does the other side think what they think. And so that's the other important. You can bring people in the room, but then you got to quote unquote, bring them into the room. And I mean, I actually also talk about race and all that. I also am a big believer in surrounding my tables with, I would bring the finance person that did the spreadsheet into the room, not just the boss's boss who had described it. And they'd say, Joe, it's so scary. You bring us in there and then you'd ask us a question. I said, well, you did the spreadsheet, so I'd rather ask you. I also was trying to bring them out, and I wanted to hear not just what someone filtered 3 levels through, but it was very powerful because they said, my gosh, and they got a lot of this feedback. The fact you brought me in the room stunned me. The fact that then you included me, meaning engaged with me and asked me questions, I was so inspired. And this is one of the reasons why you want to include. I was so inspired.
It doesn't cost you anything. It's no effort. It's just easy to do. And it has such an impact compared to giving them more money. Okay, it will motivate them initially, maybe, but then this wears off. Yeah, but really showing them that they matter, that what they produce has meaning and moves the needle. This is how to motivate people. And yeah, if this is inclusion, then it's an important topic.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'd like to make a quick announcement. I've got something exciting to share. As a listener of the High Performance CEO Show, you are already part of a community that values growth, excellence, and pushing boundaries. I created the High Performance CEO Hub, which is a free community where you can connect with me and other listeners, get behind the scenes insights, learn how to improve performance and efficiency, and find accountability partners to grow together. Go to www.thehighperformanceCEOHub.com and join us today. It's free, it's valuable, and it's waiting for you.